Okay, here's something I just cannot comprehend. How did we get a Cars trilogy before we get even an Incredibles 2 or a Wall-E 2 or an Up 2? That's just something I cannot comprehend. Let's get on with the review. Cars 3. Cars 3 is the third movie in what is now the Cars trilogy, and in this movie we follow Lightning McQueen, and he's getting a lot older. And as time goes by, we get a bunch of new rookies coming in. Yeah, Lightning McQueen's winning a lot, then all of a sudden a bunch of new rookies coming in. The main one being Jackson Storm. And then Jackson Storm, he starts winning more, and then McQueen starts losing, and then he gets into a big crash, and then he has to go through this whole retraining process, and he basically has to decide whether or not he wants to retire. Alright, so let's talk about Cars 3. Now, when it comes to Pixar films, I usually have them high on my most anticipated movies of the year because I love Pixar. Pixar is one of the greatest studios out there working today. They've made so many masterpieces of animation. Of course, with this movie, I wasn't looking forward to it nearly as much because I could not stand Cars 2. I think it's Pixar's worst film, and it's one of the worst animated films of the decade, in my eyes. So I really wasn't looking forward to this. But after seeing it, I will say this. It's definitely better than Cars 2. Of course, that's not really saying much. But yeah, we'll get into what I liked first. First off, the animation. Pixar's always done great with their animation, and that does include Cars 2. Cars 3 is no different. This movie is beautiful looking, for sure. Definitely one of the more beautiful looking animated films out there. And I do think that some of the voice acting, like Owen Wilson as Lightning McQueen, I always thought he did a good job. And some of the character dynamics especially between Lightning McQueen and Cruz Ramirez, I thought was really good. Like whenever they had these big training sequences involving those two, I thought the dynamic between them was good, and the chemistry between them I thought was really good too. And the whole training sequence I thought was done really well in the movie. But I gotta say, the best part of the movie is the last 20 minutes, because that's where it hit home for me. That's where it's like, okay, this is actually kind of inspiring. Like, it inspires people to follow their dreams. Now, of course, we have seen that before, and we'll get to that in my Flossom section, but for what this movie presented, I thought it did overall a pretty good job of this kind of story, especially in the last 20 minutes of the film, at least. Now, as good as some of these training sequences are, and as good as the final act of the movie is, and the animation, voice acting, all that good stuff, this movie still has a lot of problems, and honestly, I just wasn't that big of a fan of it. In fact, the more I think about it, the less I like it, I should say. Yeah, it's still not a very good film. First off, it's generic as all hell. It's a story we've seen done so many times before, like with the Rocky films and certain other sports films, racing films. The first Cars film, as a matter of fact. I mean, I actually kind of like the first Cars film, but yeah, with this film, it's just like we've seen this before. And Pixar is usually known for making great original content, so it's like, what the heck, Pixar? Make something new. Don't go on with this Cars trilogy. And of course, this is like the one series in Pixar that panders clearly more towards little kids. Like, this is a little kids film, and a lot of the humor in this film definitely panders towards little kids. I wasn't a big fan of the humor in this movie. And also some of the characters as well. Like, first off, Jackson Storm. He is such a generic anti-hero. And he's not even in the movie that much. Like, and just the motivation for Lightning McQueen and him wanting to him wanting to beat Storm is just we've seen it. We've seen this type of story done before. Like, come on, we've seen it done before. And some of the other characters as well just were not fleshed out at all. And the whole first half of this movie was just so boring. It was so bland, so boring, and I just could not get behind it. Even though it does get better toward the second half of the film with the training sequence and the last 20 minutes, it's still just I just was not a big fan of the story of this film at all. And honestly, this is an unnecessary sequel. It really is. We did not need this sequel. Luckily, we're getting Incredibles 2 next year, thank God, but still, it's a movie we've seen so many times before. It panders to kids, the jokes do not land, and it's just it's a mess. This movie's a mess. That's really all I can say. Overall, Cars 2, it's the same old crap we've seen from the first Cars film. It is better than Cars 2, but it's still just not that good of a movie. So yeah, overall, I'd probably rank Cars 2, then Cars 3, then Brave, and then going up from there to the best of the Pixar films. So yeah, unfortunately, I cannot quite go fresh with this one. I'm going to have to give Cars 3 a 45% rotten rating, which is a C-. I do think it is pretty unfortunate that we even got this movie, but yeah, overall, it's just meh. It's like the pure definition of meh in my eyes. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't necessarily hate it, but it's not a good movie either. So what did you think of Cars 3? If you have seen it, make sure to let me know down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more reviews to come in the future. I've got 5 more reviews coming out soon enough. 3 of them, oh man, you're going to be interested, let me tell you that. But yeah, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more reviews to come. And until the next review, once again, my name is the California Cougar. And always remember to stay California cool. Peace.